I was wondering about the structure of your business. How is your business set up, and sort of how do you talk about your business with respect to the way that it's set up?
Yeah. So I come out of the co-op movement. So I'll just say that like I've been in flat structures. And while I think the co-op model, like the more flat structure of a co-op model might work in a smaller organization or place where the culture is more collective already, in the context of the US, what I've seen is that when you don't have formal hierarchy, informal hierarchy begins to exist in those spheres.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually falls along the lines of race, gender, and class, right? Those who have been afforded in society forms of leadership or power just tend to take up those vacuums, and those who have internalized that they don't have power fall into line.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I didn't want to replicate that at Reams. We haven't corrected for that. So we have to correct for that in forms of hierarchy. We have equitable systems that really take equity into account in the way that we structure management. That said, Reams, the kind of ethos or the way that we do things is in the form of participatory management. So my kitchens, for instance, everybody has a role to play, but nobody is more important than another. But like you are accountable. If you are the kitchen manager, you are accountable for your ordering and your scheduling. Like that doesn't change, right? Does it mean that you're the only one who has the final say over everything? No, there's a participatory way that we manage that involves the voice of everybody. So that's always kind of been the case, at least informally. Everybody is cross-trained. Even if you're primarily a dishwasher, you can learn how to be a prep cook. That job is not more important than the dishwasher. It's not like you're moving up the ranks, so to speak. You just have different responsibilities. But the more responsibilities you have, the more recognition and pay you get, right? That's very clear. I wanted to formalize worker ownership. It's one thing to be like, we're all in this together. And, restaurants do that all the time. We're all a family. And I'm like, yeah, that's nice. But like, unless you give people material stake in the change, they're not going to invest in it the same way, right? Our approach to things has always been about let them build it with you. Our very first brick and mortar was a Kickstarter campaign that was fundraised by the community. They'll be that much more invested if they were part of the fight. They'll have skin in the game, so to speak. So we changed kind of our approach to worker ownership, and we said, we're going to be a worker-owned space, but like we need to build with our employees to get there. And so the way that we are going to structure, and we're not a co-op yet formally, is to create another entity that is the co-op, that is governed by the employees. And that would be a form of an LLC that we thought was important to do it as an LLC and not a corporation because we have a lot of undocumented folks. And that was the thing that was going to protect them the most. And there would be what would be called a representative model. So that's kind of the democratic way of doing things, which would be representative of the body of employees. And we would agree on what are the things that need to be decided on a larger level. But operationally, people would be autonomous to create, whether you're in the restaurant. So we decide on kind of what is a vote, and then what do managers have the power to do, who should be consulted, that kind of thing. And financially, what it looks like is that I basically am selling all of my shares to this co-op. The co-op will 100% with community investors own Reams, and therefore whatever profit that we make gets distributed to the employees first. So that's what it looks like on a financial level.
It sounds like a lot of time with the legal team.
Yes, a lot. There's a lot of legalities. And what I would say is if you want to be worker owned, just do it from the beginning because legal transitions are hard.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, with your very colorful, illustrious background as an organizer, community activist, and now as not just a restaurateur, but a business owner, and a business owner at a time where business is just really complicated and hard. You've already alluded to some of those challenges, especially in your sector. Have you, over the last few years in particular, I'm curious, ever just looked up and found yourself being like, I wonder what little Reem or like, younger Reem would say, you know, about where I am and just like how I'm moving and what I'm thinking. Like, how are you reconciling where you've come from with where you are now?
Mm-hmm. You got to the deep, Mike.
Curious.
Yeah, existential questions. I mean, I think the little, the younger, less traumatized Reem. Let's put like pre-traumatized, because there was like two phases of younger Reem. There's like the pre-trauma Reem that was like, be a star and go out there and speak your truth. You know, I was that kid.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think the young Reem that was lived in a white suburb as an ambiguously brown person who didn't really understand what racism looked like. She certainly understood what it felt like, but didn't know. Might be like, wow, how did you get here? That's the imposter syndrome, I think. I think I had to overcome a lot to realize, and I'm still trying to realize what my potential is, but there was always an affinity for something's not right, something's not just. So yeah, I think that she would be proud, hopefully.
I think she would.